Welcome to the future of Mini. This is Gabe from MotoringFile, and we've got something really special today. We've got the very first look at the new Mini J01 interior. That is the new Mini Cooper Electric. And this is an interior and design elements we're going to see across the entire range. So if you want to get a feel for what Mini is going to be over the next 10 years, you're going to want to stick around. So first off, here is the Mini that we're talking about, the exterior. Mini dropped a couple of these photos in response to some leaks that happened in a photo shoot. So we actually have a couple photos of the actual car itself, which is cool. So you can get a sense of the styling, and it's very, very sort of evolutionary. But before we go anywhere, let's step way back to 1959 and let's talk about where it all began, because this is where Mini started. In a lot of ways, what we're about to see is more of a direct connect with that car than anything that's come more recently. Many designers started with this photo. This was their inspiration, and you can immediately see why. The incredible simplicity here is stark. And of course, it was a simpler time. How can Mini achieve that now? That was really the challenge. And this is what they've done. They've taken that design ethos and they have applied it to a much more complicated world, a much more digitally enhanced world. But still, they've kept that ethos intact, and they've created something that I think ultimately looks and feels in line with what we've seen in that 1959 Mini. This is our new Mini design language. This is the new Mini experience that you have as a driver and as a passenger. And as you can immediately see, it's really simple. There's things that have been taken away. It's very reductive in a lot of ways in terms of its design ethos. And let's start with the doors. Let's start on the left-hand side. And right away, you see the door handle has moved down lower. Having sat in this car and experienced the car can tell you it's incredibly intuitive the way it works. It's a bespoke product, and it does feel like metal, which is really, really cool. The interior is also dominated, of course, by a steering wheel. And in this case, it's actually kind of a secret two-spoke steering wheel. That bottom piece is actually fabric, believe it or not. Otherwise, again, high touch premium products and 100% vegan. This is the first Mini product that is 100% vegan, so leather free. And I had reservations, but sitting in the car feeling it, I was shocked. I thought actually this was Napa leather from BMW, the kind that you find in a 7 Series or 5 Series. But it wasn't. It was, in fact, synthetic leather. The only thing it was missing, of course, was the smell, which, bummer, but, no dead cows at the very least. So let's move over to the other side and take a look at the vents and doors. I mean, completely different design here. Very, very simple. And the doors, again, have that really nice grab handle directly tied into them. And we're gonna talk more about that door in a second. But you can see the fabric sort of concept throughout. We've got fabric on that sort of third spoke in the steering wheel. And as we zoom out, you see some of that fabric in an unusual place, the dash. So not only on the doors, but the dash, and then you see it also sort of sprinkled throughout on the steering wheel as well. Let's talk about the seats for a second, because the seats are another big change. So again, really interesting textiles, not leather. This is all sort of leather. There's a new name for it. I can't remember, unfortunately, but they felt great. So I'm 6'2", and I've always really appreciated the thigh bolster that comes out on these sports seats in the Mini. Well, it's gone. This new seat does not have that. So my immediate question is, can I be comfortable in this seat? I was never that comfortable in the R56, for instance, or the R53. In this seat, it has an elongated bottom cushion that actually kind of bridges the gap between those seats and feels pretty comfortable. Still has that nice bolstering on the side. The material quality is great. You see that laser etching here in this particular design. In total, I have to say I'm pretty impressed by the way the seats felt in person. Again, not just the way they felt when I was sitting on them, but the quality sort of in hand. It was definitely a step up from leatherette that we've ever known, and I think it's pretty exciting to see where Mini's going with this. Another thing that's interesting is the armrest. So it's moved from the console to the seat, and there's only one, so the passenger does not have one that I know of. I haven't seen one. It's very small, but it serves its purpose. Again, I sat in it, had my arm there, it sort of naturally just kind of fell to it. It felt great, so no real worries. So let's take a step back again and let's talk about this display. You're looking at something that is radically different. This is an OLED display, and it's obviously mostly round. Gone is the center cluster. So we have no, I'm sorry, the cluster behind the steering wheel. So we have no information there anymore. Everything is housed within this center sort of experience. And I can't talk about this experience quite yet. That's coming soon, but I will tell you what we have seen in spy photos and what I can show you right here. There's a lot packed into it, but as you can see or sort of sense, Mini has looked at a lot of the failings that have happened in other automakers, and I think that they feel confident that they have corrected for that. So here in some of these spy photos, you can actually take a look at some of the really the kind of the interface intricacies, but more than that, what's right below the screen. So these are our new toggle switches, and they have from left to right the park brake, the gear lever, the on-off switch was actually sort of patterned after the original Mini key, the experiences lever, which allows you to go to different drive modes, but there's more than just driving that are associated with them. And then, of course, the still a switch and a knob for volume and turning audio on and off. Below that, we've got autonomous driving features. We've got cameras. We've got hazards. We've got max defrost front and back. So still some physical switches here, which is nice. Time will tell if those interactions we see on the digital experience kind of, do the trick in terms of heated seats, etc. So again, let's take that step back and look at where we're at here and where we've come from. This is a car that ultimately feels quite different than what we've had in the past. Way less busy, and I think ultimately quite simple and almost starkly simple in a lot of ways. Zeroing in again on that dash, that is fabric. What Mini has done is created, really taking these surfaces that were polyurethane based and created something that is much more environmentally friendly. So it's recycled fabric. It can be recycled, of course, and it's great to the touch. Easy to clean, apparently, so I'm told. And it's something that allows for, ultimately a very different vibe, which is really cool. So that's it. The new Mini Cooper electric interior. It is a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways, and really, quite frankly, a revolution in others. We're going to be seeing a lot more of this car very soon, including that incredible display. So check back on MotoringFile, give us a like, give us a follow, go to motoringfile.com and read and see much more.